I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup, coming to you from one of the great bull rings of the United States, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Just a tick over a half mile. Justin Kreider holds the track record here at an 18.785. Set in a CRA Super Late Model. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I tell you what, Bizzle, as we're seeing qualifying get ready to kick off here, Brandon Buckberger heading out onto the Speedway. This race could be interesting tonight. Big split. Barely split. But that means we're looking at a 44.08 strength of field.
Oh, man, this is going to be one hell of a race here tonight, then. I'm kind of disappointed. I forgot we were at Wilkesboro tonight. I should have went and picked up some moonshine.
Well, yeah, especially in light of what they found under the front straightaway.
Oh man, do I want to break the real news to you?
What's that?
It's just a sinkhole.
Well, either way, don't ruin my fun, you. I need a bleep button. Brandon Buckberger is on the Speedway as we speak. Let's take a look. There we go. Let's see. Buckberger is going to be second quick. River Hayes at the top of the speed charts as it stands right now. 16.471, the quick time for Hayes. Buckberger, James Watson, Jeffrey Stanton, and Ryan Pendleton. The top five. Scott Schroeder, Tommy Toe, Connor Knowlton, all working their second laps. We'll pick up a look here at Connor Knowlton. And let's see here. Connor Knowlton, he's going to go quick time, 16.372, 16.372 seconds, a heater of a lap time for Connor Knowlton. Tommy Toe is on the racetrack. Let's take a look here and see if we can't pick up Thomas Lewandowski making his way around to the T. Watson Racing setups. Yeah, Sign-On is checking in saying, would you need the bleep button before or after consuming some of the local delicacies? Before, during, and after?
Yeah. When we're not live, I think I got a potty mouth.
Well, yeah, there is a little bit of a delay here. Speaking of the local delights, the Coors Extra Gold. I know Coors is brewed in Golden, Colorado, but it's an alcohol theme here, people. The number 21 of... Oh, go ahead.
So say, right now I've got our local delicacy here in Ohio. I've got some hard Mountain Dew, some hard Baja Blast, actually.
Okay. I guess that's a
So
thing.
local delicacy here.
Yeah. That sounds interesting.
It's pretty good.
So let's see here. Mitch Drevnovsky going to move himself up into the second position. Unfortunately, looks like our timing and scoring graphics are not going to behave for us here this evening. So unfortunately, we won't have those to put up on screen for you. Well, let's see. Let's try this. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the graphics aren't going to work for us tonight. So we'll keep you posted of where everybody is and what's going on here. But a 13-car split, and as we mentioned, an absolute heater. 44.08 is the strength of field on this one. Starting on the front row for tonight's race will be the number 8 of Connor Knowlton. Lining up to his outside will be the number 1 of Tracy Petter. Row number 2 tonight will have Mitch Drevnovsky and River Hayes. That'll be cars number 2 and 4, respectively. Thomas Lewandowski and Brandon Buckberger occupying row number 3 for tonight's 90-lap feature event. Josh Batista and James Watson will be on row number 4. Row 5 will be Jeffrey Stanton and Ryan Pendleton. Row 6, Scott Schroeder and Tommy Toe. And all alone on the 7th row of the grid will be the number 12 of Laura Gerhardt. Scott Schroeder's the lowest I-rated guy in the field at a 26.27. The number 1 belonging to Tracy Petter, 8,084 I-rating for that car. This one, I am looking forward to it because when you get an SOF this high at a short track like this, it feels like we're either going to have some absolute carnage or we are going to go 90 laps clean and green with these guys trading like the baby slide job you do into turn 1.
Yeah, they were doing that all last week at Motegi, Mobility Park Motegi, as it's called now. And I'm really hoping we get to see that again as they go up and down the hill here at Wilkesboro.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting one. That is for sure. And quite frankly, Connor Knowlton has been very, very aggressive early on in these races. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to use that pole position to his advantage. But you have Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky, River Hayes all back behind you. 3 guys that are, quite frankly, most of the top 5 in the point standings is all right here as the field sets off on their first of 2 pace laps. Brandon Buckberger is your points leader, sitting on 698 points. 5th place, Thomas Lewandowski, is 97 points back. I get it. We're only in week 4, week 5 of the season. But unless Lewandowski continues his crazy string of SOF races, this one could be really intense coming down the stretch.
Yeah, this race could make or break your season. With the strength of field this high, winning this race is almost like winning 2 of the lower split races, or the, I guess, bigger split of lower strength of field races. So it's like double points night here. It's like the Indy 500. You got to go out and you got to go win it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Derek Love sitting 2nd in points, and he is 60 back. River Hayes 3rd on 630, so he's, 69 points back. James Watson 4th on 607, and Lewandowski, as we mentioned, on 601. This is going to be a great battle down the stretch. As the pace car heads in very quickly to the throttle goes Connor Knowlton. Green flags out. We're underway here at North Wilkesboro. Field looks clean off of turn number 2, and my gut kind of tells me here, Bizzle, that we may see a little bit of settle in because with the unique shape and design of this racetrack, you're kind of chewing up the tires in 2 different ways, and that means you really are going to have to work on conserving both the right front and the right rear around this place.
Yeah, you have to preserve the whole car. It's very easy to get up into the wall. It's very easy to slide around the front tires. Coming out of the corners, it's very easy to slide the rears.
Oh, big contact! Watson's upside down! Huge hit for James Watson. He's still tumbling into turn 3. Oh, my goodness. That was huge. We are going to take a look at this one from the close-up camera first. Watson is not going to be happy with how this race turned out. Lewandowski up to the outside. He slides up ever so slightly. Big hit for Lewandowski, and Watson just keeps sliding and tumbling that car all the way down the backstretch and into turn number 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, a very early end to the night for James Watson.
Take one more look at this one. Go on board with the cockpit cam of James Watson. Man, that was tough. I don't know if that was Watson slid high a little bit on corner exit. Maybe the car getting a little bit loose, but either way, not the way James Watson wanted his night to end.
No, and that's going to be unfortunate, especially in a night as high of strength field as tonight. It's really going to take a hit on the points.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this will become it's just a drop week, and that's kind of how you have to look at it. One night, one-man race, it's one of your 4 drops. You still have a total of 8 races that are going to get scored in a 12-week season. It's kind of built in for things like this, whether it's a netcode issue, an early crash, you have a couple of weeks you can't race. That's kind of the point of iRacing's 12-week, 8-count drop system.
Yeah, it's like when Formula 1 did drop weeks. You'd have guys going out there and wrecking each other, just like Senna and Prost did at Suzuka, because if it's a bad finish, it doesn't matter anyway.
Well, yeah, and quite frankly, there were times when they wouldn't necessarily come to run the United States Grand Prix, or they wouldn't go to Argentina or Brazil because it was just too far. Kept the drivers in the championship battle as we go back to green flag racing here at lap number 8. 83 circuits remaining here around the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Taking a look at Thomas Lewandowski, that car currently in position number 7, but he is falling rapidly with a lot of damage on the front end of that number 3. Well, maybe a little bit of a kiss to the outside wall there for Jeffrey Stanton exiting turn number 2.
Yep, very easy to do here. This track tightens up so quickly out of the corners.
Especially if you're going to run that line that Stanton's running, kind of go with the high side through turns 1 and 2. For a long time, that was kind of the line. You ran about a groove and a half up off the bottom in turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4, you had to be right on the inside of the racetrack. But I think weather conditions may be playing a part in this decision by Jeffrey Stanton. Currently, 68 degrees ambient, 90-degree track temperature. If the clouds don't stay in, or the sun, stays out, whatever, if the sun's not eclipsed, the track's going to get warmer. I think we may see that develop, because this is a very, very long race for these guys.
Yeah, especially with only having one set of tires. It's very difficult to preserve them. I mean, that's why some of these guys have 8,000 I ratings, is because they've gotten very good at managing what effectively becomes a terrible car to drive at the end of these races.
Yeah, seeing the move here on Brandon Buckberger inside of 3 and 4 as Buckberger slides ever so slightly up to the outside. Seeing Sidon checking in, saying a lot of the drivers would skip the South African Grand Prix because of apartheid. That's exactly right. There were a lot of driver strikes for that reason, going back to that kind of late 70s time period. And quite frankly, Kyalami was not exactly known as being the safest racetrack they would run on all season either. But at the front of the field, it's going to be Connor Knowlton. Holding off Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky, River Hayes, those top 4. Holding serve, Jeffrey Stanton with a nice drive so far. He's your hard charger of the race. Up 4 positions, running in 5th, Brandon Buckberger. Holding down 6th. 7th, Josh Batista. 8th, Thomas Lewandowski. Down 3 after the early contact with James Watson. Tommy Toe, Ryan Pendleton, Scott Schroeder, Laura Gerhardt also still on the racing surface. James Watson is out of this race early on after that contact. Talked a little bit about the season that Thomas Lewandowski is having. So we'll slide back here and pick up car number 3. Well, oh, helps if you click on the right screen there, dummy. There he is. That Team Watson Racing setups Dizzy V Designs number 3. Lewandowski has 7 starts on the season, entering tonight anyway. 5 wins, 6 top 5s, and he's 5th in points. Purely because one of those bad finishes was in a high SOF race. This could be another big SOF night that Lewandowski can't take advantage of. That is a huge, huge deal as we get later in this championship. He hasn't used 1 drop week. Now he's up to 2. We were talking a little bit in the pre-race about how the series splits at 24 cars. So you get to 25 and you're going, somebody drop, somebody drop. We ended up with 26 and 2 13-car fields. But one of the things that can happen in the big split Bizzle is not only do you have the possibility for carnage, but also a lot more lap traffic. Right now, with 67, now 66 laps to go, Laura Gerhardt is 10 seconds behind the race leaders. It's going to be another 15 to 20 laps before they catch that first lap car. Traffic just will not be a factor tonight, and it has to change how these drivers will approach the race at the front of the field.
Yeah, you're basically balls out. You can't use that lap car as a pick to either put more distance between you and the guy behind you, or better yet, if you're trying to make a pass, get side by side with the leader and force him to be stuck behind a lap car. You just don't have that option. So you have to race as hard as you possibly can and use your own skill to get by another driver. You can't use lap traffic as that pick.
And I think we may be starting to see some of the handling woes already here, as Jeffrey Stanton was way loose off of turn 2 that time. Mitch Drevnovsky making easy work of Tracy Petter into turn number 3. Although I guess possibly a little bit of self-preservation stuff there as well, like we talked about. I just don't need to race you yet. I need to keep up with you, but I don't need to race you. Oh, well, it may not have to worry about it. Caution flag is out for the 2nd time here tonight. And it looks like it's going to be an issue for Tommy Toe. Take a look first, the onboard from Tommy's car. See if we can see what happened here. Oh, that car just snapped off at turn number 2. Wonder if he got a little bit of help. Take a look at a second look at the replay here. Car number 11 is Tommy Toe. The 9 of Ryan Pendleton down to the inside, and there it is. Contacto Punterino off of turn number 2. Oh, almost backing right into Laura Gerhardt, too. Tough spot as we go back to the live look here. If you're Tommy, you're trying to keep that car out. You're trying to keep your car outside, but at the same time, you start to get that little bit of a push. You really don't have a choice but kind of chop the nose off of the car that's looking inside.
Yeah, you basically drag a little bit of brake, come off the throttle, and get some grip into those front tires to try and pull the car back down, because it wants to do nothing other than go straight into that outside wall. And
with still 60 laps remaining, Long time to go here. Tommy Toe did not have to come down pit lane. Laura Gerhardt did make a stop. 2.1 seconds. No tires can be taken here. Possibly a little bit of damage repair to Gerhardt's machine, but also putting a little fuel back in the car. In a field that's this short, I like that call. Get the car settled down a little bit. Don't lose a lap or anything in the process. But having that little bit of stability for the second half of the race could come in huge.
Love the scenery at the old North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, the 1987 paint job on the walls and everything else around here is so cool. I would tend to think we're going to see a rescan of that in a, air quotes, new North Wilkesboro release. Of note, check the inside of the pit lane. There is no pit wall separating the crews from the pit lane surface. That has changed prior to NASCAR coming back. As we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here, it'll be 57 circuits remaining. Of note, track temperature up to 92 degrees as the green flag goes back in the air.
I just noticed that there's 4 people on the billboard where they have the lap positions. Where they were changing them by hand for what driver was in what position.
Correct, yeah. Everything was manual scoring here. Good battle between Josh Batista and Thomas Lewandowski a little bit deeper in the field. Batista, a little bit of right side damage, clipping that outside wall.
Don't they still do that at Wrigley Field?
Wrigley does it. I believe Fenway still does it too.
That is awesome.
Lewandowski and Pendleton battling off the corner. Gutsy by Pendleton, not showing any desire to lift, even after the contact with Tommy Toe. Oh, big slide off the corner that time for Pendleton. We are kicking off a big week of racing action here on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night, we're right back here with the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. Oh, baby, as Lewandowski and Pendleton almost make contact. That race will air 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, followed by the TNT Shock Series, 9:45 Eastern. That race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Follow it up on Thursday night with the USF Pro Cars visiting Zolder. And then it's Vintage IMSA Weekend. Special events for the iRacing platform. The Nissan GTP and the Audi 90 taking on Road America. I may have to try to run that.
I usually run it in the Nissan. I've always run the Nissan in that series. But I've been starting to fall in love with the Audi. The Audi is its own special little beast.
And somewhere Westshire gained his wings.
Well, that's the jerk that's been painting me to that car. He only owns like 4 of them in his driveway.
That's correct. I'm not sure any of them run, but there are
One
4
of them. He is daily. Since he only owns Volkswagens, his nice modern GTI has been broken in the shop for the past 2 weeks. He's been daily driving an Audi 90.
Oh, that's awesome. Good battle for the lead heating up here as Mitch Drevnovsky having the inside look on Connor Knowlton. Knowlton's led 42 circuits, this time by the line. Oh, I think it's going to be Knowlton again. And it was 43 laps led for Connor Knowlton. And these guys battling up front as we hit the halfway point. That's exactly what guys like Tracy Pettit, River Hayes, Jeffrey Stanton want to see. Let the leaders burn their stuff up a little bit here. Sidon is saying Wrigley still has a manual scoreboard. The Phillies had one until this season. They replaced it with a video board that apparently will change mid-play and is distracting the outfielders.
That is the most Philadelphia thing I've ever heard. The only thing that can be more distracting is possibly throwing batteries at players on the field.
Oh, baby, Connor Nolan, he's up into the wall. Car going around, it looks like it's River Hayes. 2 cars involved, and Connor Nolan, I believe, will be one of them. Big damage to the one of Tracy Petter. Oh, this is race changing. Here just past the halfway point. Keep your eye out here. The 24 of Connor Nolan just brushes the outside wall. River Hayes goes for a spin. And I think Brandon Buckberger got a huge piece of that as well. Let's take a look here. Pull up the replay one more time. We're going to slide back to Brandon Buckberger's machine. There's the contact. Oh, yeah, huge hit for Buckberger as well. River Hayes and Brandon Buckberger both taking big damage in that incident. This might look like a sprint car race by the time we're done after all. So let's give you the rundown through the field here. There's the number 21 of Mitch Drevnovsky. He's your race leader. That car does not have any damage. The same cannot be said for Tracy Petter. That whole right front corner of that number 1 race EPI machine banged up. The Ski Race Shop entry of Connor Nolan. I don't know how that car isn't damaged. Maybe a little bit on the right-hand side. Jeffrey Stanton in the 4th position. That car looks nice and clean. Then we go back to Brandon Buckberger, the Dietz Farms machine. That's a used-up John Deere right there on the left front corner of that machine. Josh Batista, big damage on the Red Ream Rocket. Ryan Pendleton in the 9 showing some front-end damage. Thomas Lewandowski got junked early in this race. Tommy Toe in the 11. That car is going to have damage. He was involved in the Punterino contact earlier. We have got a whole lot of damaged race cars here, Bizzle. Now, I know it's a short track. It shouldn't matter that much. But the way that these things, the way Lewandowski dropped through the field, I think this is going to hurt a lot of guys at the front.
Yeah, aero damage isn't going to hurt you so much here. What is going to hurt you, though, is bending tie rods, bending control arms, bending anything that basically holds the wheel in the position you set him in the pit lane.
Yeah, I would think Connor Nolan probably has some of that. That was pretty heavy contact with the outside wall. Getting that car airborne as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. I'd love the Pontiac hot air balloon.
I like the NASCAR Cup Series big box on the backstretch where the cameramen used to film from.
Yes, cameramen were up there and the spotters were there as well. The official spotters hung out up there. As we are back to green flag. Oh, good.
I'm talking about the stuff that's illegal for younger people to smoke.
Yeah, the pack of products that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, that stuff. The NASCAR Cup Series box.
Yeah.
There was no sponsor in the 80s. I don't believe drag racing had a sponsor then either.
That is correct. A lot of money funneled into the sport, though. Drevnovsky holding... Drevnovsky holding the lead now over Tracy Petter. Connor Nolan doing a nice job holding off Jeffrey Stanton. So maybe not too much damage there on car number 8. Oh, Stanton with a huge slide off of 4. That car was still wrecking as he got to turn 1, cut it down to the inside. He's still trying to wreck. That is a wild handful that Jeffrey Stanton has right now. High, wide, and handsome through 1 and 2. And that tells me the car is beginning to push at that end of the racetrack. He's even off the bottom in turns 3 and 4 as well. You're going to get that push, and then the push turns into snap oversteer.
Yeah, and it very quickly turns into snap oversteer.
Now, you've driven these cars more than I have, but I don't even think that you necessarily have the weight jacker is going to do all that much either.
No, because if you pump it more to the tight side, that snap oversteer is going to get worse. I always found that it was better to move it to the loose side and have the car enter the turn loose and kind of chase it up and drive the corner straight off.
A little bit of a scrape.
The snap oversteer very quickly turns into nosing into the wall and your night's done.
Yeah, and we still have 29 laps to go here in this one. Jeffrey Stanton is going to be fighting that car for the rest of this race. But with the damaged car of Brandon Buckberger had a huge hit into River Hayes. That may save a top 5 finish here for Stanton.
Yeah, even possibly another caution coming from basically anywhere in the field will help him get a top 5 here tonight.
Well, the closest we may get right here is Ryan Pendleton and Thomas Lewandowski. Pendleton able to clear Lewandowski on the restart. People say they love the beating and banging short track racing. That's what you're getting here. This battle has settled down ever so slightly back to about 0.2 of a second. The same gap as we have at the front of the field. Mitch Drevnovsky ahead of Tracy Penner by right about 1/4 of a second. I would not have pegged a almost 4,500 SOF split to be a race where you say attrition and survival is what's going to get you up onto the podium. But that's exactly what we're seeing here tonight, still with 23 to go.
I mean, sometimes you see it in Formula One, sometimes you see it in IndyCar, sometimes you see it in NASCAR. You see it a lot in sports car racing. I mean, even the best of the best of the best have these attrition races. It's not limited to your short track enduro guys.
Drevnovsky going to lead a very nice lap number 69 to pick up his 26th circuit lead of the race. And the gap holding steady here too, right about 1/4 of a second. I would tend to think, though, if we're going to see some movement up front, this is when we're going to see it. Because Connor Knowlton is starting to charge now. Started on the pole for this race with a lap time of 16:373. They're up into the 16.8s now for the 5-lap average. But that doesn't mean that you're not pushing the car, as hard as you possibly can still. And if Knowlton is able to catch Penner, that could be all Mitch Drevnovsky needs to run away with this thing. Congo line making their way off of turn 2, coming around Laura Gerhardt. Put that car a lap down.
I'm going to be a little nitpicky here on iRacing's recreation of the 87 version of this track, but if you look right there off of turn number 2, there is a 2004 Ford Econoline RV. All the rest of them are old RVs from the 80s, but there is one of them from like the mid-2000s. Look, there it is.
That
A little
RV,
small one.
that RV was parked there in 1991 while the track was closed and just never moved again.
Ah, all right.
I do like the touch of the early 70s pickup trucks at turn 1.
Yeah, you can see they made an effort, like put old vehicles there, old school style RVs, and then there's a couple like Ford Econoline from the early 2000s.
We'll give them a little bit. Top 3 have broken away solidly from Jeffrey Stanton. The gap now 1.5 seconds between third place Connor Knowlton and fourth place Jeffrey Stanton. Drevnowski, Petter, and Knowlton are your top 3. That's who's up on screen right now. Jeffrey Stanton, Brandon Buckberger separated by 0.8 of a second or so. That's the battle for 4th. Josh Batista running 5th. Ryan Pendleton 6th. He is getting absolutely hounded by Thomas Lewandowski as Pendleton makes the big slide off of turn number 4. That's the only other battle on the racetrack right now. And if you're looking for a caution, this might be it. Sign on checking in saying, don't give away Doc Brown's hiding place. It's where he makes the moonshine.
I think Walter White's back there somewhere too.
I wouldn't doubt that. Down to 10 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro. Race has only taken 27 3/4 minutes to get done to this point. All in all, not too shabby for these guys. And Knowlton has caught right up to the back bumper of Tracy Petter. The Silver Crown Cup does have one attempt at a green-white checkered finish, should the need arise. Because the question becomes, how patient is Connor Knowlton going to be behind Tracy Petter? Seems like Petter gained a little bit of ground on Drevnowski. Knowlton able to stay in line. Catch it back up. They're going to come back around on the lap car. I believe that's going to be of Laura Gerhardt just up ahead. May not catch her, though, as we are down to 5 to go. Oh, Knowlton thought about the peak into 1 and 2 that time. Now he's going to run high through 3 and 4. Maybe grab some gravity down the downhill part of the front stretch. Swings that car wide. Petter doing a nice job holding the line off, and now Drevnowski opening the gap up. It's a half second now between first and second. Oh, Knowlton gets a great run on the outside. He's going to look on Petter. It'll be 2 to go, this time by the start-finish line. Petter holds the spot at the line. Great battle for second continues. They'll see the white flag this time by. Petter on the inside, Knowlton on the outside. It's Connor Knowlton at the line. Oh, they touch. A little right side romance from Tracy Petter. Slides Knowlton up the racetrack. He's going to be right there fighting back. Off at turn number 4. Twin checkers go in the air. Mitch Drevnowski wins. Tracy Petter's going to hold on for second. Connor Knowlton finishes up on the podium. Jeffrey Stanton and Brandon Buckberger will round out the top 5. Get you the good look at your race winner, Mitch Drevnowski. Led 47 of 90 circuits here tonight. Connor Knowlton leading the other 43. But a fantastic drive for Mitch Drevnovsky. I'll tell you what, Bizzle, he really had to love seeing Petter and Knowlton go to battle there over the last handful of laps.
Yeah, that was getting a little physical.
Yeah, so definitely some right side romance. Not entirely sure that there wasn't some left side loving to go with it, but great fight down the stretch between Tracy Petter and Connor Knowlton. And let's see, just waiting on our podium finishers to get up here into the booth, but let's see, we'll kick up the replay, slow things down for you, and we'll get a look. Let's see who we have to talk to here. Oh, we got all three. So let's pick up our race winner tonight, Mr. Mitch Drevnovsky, and bring Mitch up into the booth. I'll tell you what, Mitch, great run. The second half of this race, a really dominant performance, and you had to absolutely love seeing Tracy and Connor go to battle with each other there late in the race.
Oh, yeah, that was great to see. I think, unfortunately, for the both of them, I saw them kind of get together there, and I think River ended up in it, and I don't know how much that hurt their cars, but if that hadn't happened, my plan was kind of run, the first 30, 40 laps and try to keep enough tire on it, and then I got by Tracy, and then I was like, all right, well, we'll shoot for Connor too and try to control the pace, and we ended up being able to do that, and then they got together there, and we had that yellow, and Tracy still showed good speed, and Connor came there to him at the end, and yeah, they got to battling, which was good to see, but just glad we were able to take it home and have a good run.
How big was the tire management game here tonight? 90 laps is a long time around North Wilkesboro, and with a really hot track temp too.
Yeah, that definitely played a factor into it. We were kind of a little bit too tight, I felt like, and I took a little weight jacker out. Kind of got it to where I wanted it to be. Maybe make a couple setup changes if we happen to run tomorrow, or just notes moving forward. But yeah, it was really, the track position was big because it was tough to pass with the hot track temp, and making sure you had enough tire on it to make that pass, which is ultimately why I tried to get those passes done early, or semi-early.
Well, I tell you what, good run for you tonight here, Mitch. Congratulations on the dub, and that's going to be big for your championship hopes here as well, with a, quite frankly, huge SOF here tonight. Congratulations on the win, and do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs before we let you go.
Yes, as always, all the guys at Ski Race Shop and EPI just doing a great job on the sets. We've showed up to a couple of these and had some speed, so hopefully we can come to a couple more and have that same speed. And everyone for coming out, like I said, big SOF. We got a split, a lot of good guys running, and Tracy and Connor having a good run. As always, you guys doing a great job on the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you much, Mitch. We appreciate the kind words from you. And now let's head up and talk to Tracy Petter, our runner-up finisher tonight. And great battle there late in the race. Maybe a little bit of right side romance there to Connor with a couple laps to go. Has to be a lot of fun beating and banging these cars around a 5/8 mile bull ring, I guess it is.
I definitely like the beat and bang accidentally. Set up that damage just killed me. My right front was just going away so fast with that damage. I was getting so tight. I knew as soon as I had the damage, there was no shot at the win. It was over right from there.
Then how do you change that, make that mental flip then? Because you're going from racing for the win, contending, to now just trying to persevere and hold on. That's a big switch, because this is not an easy car to drive when it's in good shape, let alone when it's all damaged up and burning off the right front.
I just, since it was my buddy behind me, I knew he wasn't going to be super aggressive, and it's also his second time driving the car, so I just kind of had to maintain a decent pace to hold him off. He ended up getting to me once that right front went to complete crap.
Well,
it was a good race towards the end. It was real close.
Yes, it was. It was a heck of a finish you guys put on for us. We appreciate it. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs for us here, too.
Yeah, of course. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and shout out to EPI and SRS.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming up to hang out with us here for just a minute. And now, I think this is the first time I'm getting to talk to Connor Knowlton. I don't know if Bizzle's had a chance to talk to you or not, but, man, Connor, congratulations picking up another podium. And quite frankly, the car looked really, really good tonight.
Yeah, no, that I was talking with Tracy and Mitch. I put down an absolute burner in Q, but my goal for that race was really just to work on managing the race, whether I was first, second, or third. And I felt like I did a pretty good job with that, but I just got a little bit loose and wiggled off the wall. And Tracy ran in the back of me, and I know River got wrecked out from that. So I apologize to everyone who got caught up in that. I don't want to tear up any race cars, but no, we were really quick today though.
Yeah, and it seemed like it's interesting to hear that kind of management part of the race, because the fairly hot track temperature, you know you're going to burn off both right side tires with the uphill, downhill nature of the corners. That's a whole lot to manage in a car that maybe you're not completely familiar with.
Yeah, and honestly, like North Wilkesboro is probably one of my favorite tracks. It's one of the best ones that I do when the wheel and modifieds come through here. So I already had a good idea of what the track was going to do to any given car. But specifically for this car, I learned from New Hampshire that I went too hard a little too early. So I didn't really care if I got passed. Moreover, I just wanted to keep tire on it for the end, and I really felt like those last 20 laps, that last run, I had one of the quickest cars out there. It's so hard to set up a move, and you saw me trying to dart low, dart high on Tracy and get around him, but I just didn't quite have the time. But yeah, it is quite a lot to manage. I just really wanted to make sure that my right front didn't burn off, and I wanted to make sure that I kept heat in the right rear, so that way the heat split would kind of even things out, and I'd have a pretty damn fast car at the end there.
Well, you certainly did. Congratulations on it, too. Led 43 laps tonight and picking up a third-place finish. Connor, congratulations, and do all the sponsor plugs and shout-outs before we let you out of here.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to Ski Race Shop, always making bad, fast cars, whatever we decide to hook up. Big shout-out to EPI, iBox Springs, and everyone back at the shop just making this thing an absolute rocket.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth for a couple of minutes, and tell you what, Bizzle, we got a pretty darn good show out of this one here tonight.
Yeah, North Wilkesboro always puts on a great show. It's almost just a novelty of it. Everyone loves coming here. Cars haven't raced here in 20-something years until very, very recently, so it's always a treat getting to see anything go around this speedway.
It really is, and quite frankly, you don't necessarily have to have 40 cars in the show to make it a good one. We saw a really good race tonight. A couple of guys, unfortunately, going out early in River Hayes and James Watson, but we had, quite frankly, the quintessential short track race here tonight. It's not passing is not racing, to use the Tony Stewart line. We saw a lot of tire conservation, a lot of setup management, and that's not something that only happens at the mile and a half. So we had a great example of it here tonight.
Yeah, even drag racing, you only have 2 cars going down the track, and you can still have a great drag race. So car counts don't matter nearly as much as the quality of drivers behind the wheel.
That is absolutely true. And speaking of quality, a lot more coming up here this week on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the iRacing Sprint Car Cup heads off to North Wilkesboro Speedway, right back here in the hills and hollows of North Carolina. 9:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It'll be the TNT Shock Series visiting Indianapolis Raceway Park. Great oval for those cars. Don't want to miss what is sure to be one of the best TNT Shock Series races of the season. Although they do have a lot to live up to after last week at Rockingham. Thursday night, the USF Pro Championship iRacing officials head off to Circuit Zolder over there in Europe, and we're looking forward to bringing that one to you. Not many visits we've gotten to make there yet. Coming up this weekend, the Spec Corvette Series will be out at Buttonwillow Raceway. Times and dates to be determined. But as soon as we have the information on those, we will get them scheduled up. And make sure you click the subscribe and ring the bell so you know when those shows get posted and when we're going to go live. If you're racing this weekend, the virtual IMSA series heads off to Road America. Enjoy that one in the Nissan GTP and the Audi 90. But with that, time for Bizzle and I to get the heck on out of here. For Bizzle and James Watson and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.